Hello and welcome to our revenue management simulation presentation by Team5.5 Hotel Bellevue. We will start with the introduction of our hotel, then we will proceed with general overview of year performance. Next, we will present the performance and analysis for each quarter, and we will conclude our presentation by summarizing our simulation and giving recommendations. Our hotel is a full-service 4-star hotel which has 250 rooms, 50 premium and 200 standard. It has a 125-seat restaurant. It services business, contract, large and small group segments. For our positioning strategy, we wanted to focus on business clients and aim to be a mid to upper scale hotel. By this, we wanted to offer a vast number of services that were relevant to business customers, but not charge price too high compared to our competitors. We wanted to carefully monitor our competitors' pricing so that we could adjust accordingly. Real stats. This slide is a small demonstration of our pricing strategy. Here is a graph taken directly from the simulation showing a price comparison with our competitors from the bar standard through direct bookings. As you can see, for the whole year, we remained below the highest price but slightly above the average price of the market. This was to reflect our higher quality without raising prices too high to become a top-range hotel, as we wanted to be a mid-upper scale. Here you can see the revenue, net profit, and profit margin of our hotel through the year for each quarter. We can see the general rise of these three indicators until quarter 4 and a dramatic decrease of the profit margin and the net profit. The analysis of these trends will be explained later in our slides. Here we present our total occupancy graph, where there is an overall increasing trend with some large increases for May and October, with October having the highest occupancy rate, but a gradual decrease for the last 2 months. In the first quarter, we have focused more on the quality of service than the advertising. However, in quarter 2 and 3, we have started investing more in order to influence customers' mind and get more net profit than to invest in real reconstructions. We represented the marketing expenses per room sold per quarter for the different segments, group discounted and transient. Our largest expense in marketing department was in quarter 4 due to off-season period, which was low occupancy, and a human error mistake in setting up the prices. The price for large group was 14 instead of 140, so our occupancy for on the months was very high for large group and therefore took away the opportunity to sell the rooms to transients. Here we continue with the ratio of spending $1 on advertising that brought us net profit. Quarter 1 and 2 went well. In quarter 3, we have more expenses, thus our net profit decreased. And quarter 4, due to the human error, went into negative numbers. We decided from the first months to use all of the marketing expense options. This was something we did not change over the entire year. We did this because we felt all of the expenses were necessary and there wasn't one which we felt was not beneficial to us. We have decided to combine our performance and our analysis and findings together by quarters for easy and uncomplicated explanation. For each quarter, we are going to discuss our decisions regarding the following topics: occupancy, market index, revenue, room rate, refurbishment, facilities, services, marketing, and distribution channels.
So now we present quarter 1. Our occupancy gradually increased through the whole of quarter 1, as can be seen by the clear trend line. ADR was constantly increasing as well. These two factors had positive effect on RevPAR. For this first quarter, we decided to invest in cleaning services for guest room premium and guest room standard, as well as for associate facilities. We invested in soft goods redo of lobby and public areas, bar lounge, as well as meeting rooms. Finally, we decided to renovate the front desk. For the reputation management, the lowest score for us was for associate facilities, which was 52%. In January, we decided to do cleaning for this month of associate facilities, and in March, we wanted to add a fitness, but it was too expensive for the moment. We decided to do cleaning for this month of associate facilities once again. Parking, telephone, guest laundry and dry cleaning, guest room internet and guest room entertainment, those were the ones that we wanted to increase our reputation in. We invested in parking, telephone, guest laundry and dry cleaning, guest room internet and guest room entertainment. As it is the first quarter, we decided to invest on these areas to increase our reputation and provide a good image of our hotel to our guests. As we aimed to be a mid-upper scale hotel by implementing slightly higher rates than the competition, we added the following services in Bellevue to make sure our guests would see an added value for the higher rate offered. These services were aimed to facilitate and appeal to our guests throughout their stay. Our reputation management shows our main focus, which was to create a good first impression for the guests. We did this by focusing on the first areas seen in the hotel, such as the front desk and public areas. We can see the competition focused on meeting rooms. However, we invested massively in the business center as we felt it was necessary in this quarter to invest in the meeting rooms. All the three indicators increased through the first quarter, with a much larger increase seen between February and March. Our revenue, net profit and GOP were constantly increasing through the quarter one due to the following facts. The constant increase in our occupancy, which leads to higher revenue, the refurbishment decisions we have made, which affected the reputation and satisfaction of employees and clients. For example, front desk, which gives the first impression to the clients. We also invested in a number of services, which increased the value of proposition for the customers and allowed the hotel to gain additional sources of revenue other than rooms. We invested in expanding in business-related facilities in order to attract more business clients.
Now we're going to present to you quarter two. Regarding the second quarter, our occupancy steadily increased from April to May, then decreased in June. The large increase in May can be explained by the acceptance of a large group, which is an anomaly, and then the increase from April to June because of the high season that was expected. Thus, we can see a dramatic decrease in the ADR indicator for May, which caused RevPAR to drop for May and increase in June. We decided to introduce rate parity in June, assigning the same rates with the same conditions to a specific room type through all the different distribution channels. This was because our reputation wasn't doing so well, and we believed by creating the parity, our reputations with customers would be increased. We feel that we should have done this earlier, as it made the most sense, and it was also what all of our competition was doing. This screenshot from the simulation also displays a continuous trend which we stuck to. That was, all the rates on the weekend were lower than the weekdays. This was due to a continuous trend that our weekday occupancy was always higher than our weekend occupancy. By decreasing the prices slightly, we hope to even this occupancy out. We should have anticipated the increased demand through the summer, high leisure season, and raised the prices for the weekends. Moreover, we should have done our major cleanings in advance so we don't have the rooms out of order. For this second quarter, we decided to invest in cleaning services for the lobby and public areas, front desk and the restaurant, and the associate facilities in order to try and increase our reputation. We invested in a soft goods redo for the environmental programme. Finally, we decided to renovate the parking, grounds and pool as they were very low in our reputation management. As June is the start of the high season, we invested a lot in the cleaning to make sure Bellevue would be cleaned and properly welcome our guests. In April, we invested in the transport van, as we felt this would add a lot of value for our customers, especially to the business guests. No one from our competition has this service, so we believed it would be our competitive advantage. We did not invest in any facilities as our feedback from guests told us we had enough and we did not have enough in capital to invest in any others. As we can see from the graph, our reputation management for meeting rooms was lower than our competitors. We feel this is a mistake that we made as we didn't pay attention to it and relied on our business centre, which may have been okay in the first quarter but was damaging in the second. For our reputation management, restaurant is one of our lowest, but we didn't have enough money to invest, hence decided to invest in a soft goods redo and cleaning of the restaurant. For the first group, we didn't want to select a very low rate just to get selected, as we were not especially keen on receiving the group. Regarding the second group, we really wanted to accommodate this group, therefore offered a pretty low rate compared to our competitors to get the group into our hotel. It can be clearly seen that our ADR in quarter two is lower than in quarter one and quarter three, due to the fact that we accepted a group with such a low rate that dragged our ADR down. However, a low proposed rate has increased the number of rooms sold considerably in quarter two compared to quarter one and quarter three. Accepting the group had the following effect on the market indexes. RGI and ARI have decreased because of the low rate offered to the group, which was so much lower than our usual ADR. Opposingly, the MPI has increased as we outperformed the competition on this index. Overall, this had a negative consequence on the general performance of our hotel, which showed that offering such a low rate was a mistake. And with our wide range of facilities and services, we can't accept low-rate groups. As you may notice, the total revenue and the net profit decreased in May due to the fact that we accepted the group. As we mentioned earlier, we shouldn't have, as it negatively impacted our total revenue and our profit.
Now we would like to present to you quarter three. So there was a small increase in occupancy from July to August, but a large decrease from August to September. The large decrease in September can be explained by off-season period where we managed to retain our ADR just below average. However, RevPAR increased from July to August, but had a drop in September. For this third quarter, we decided to invest in cleaning services for guest room premium and guest room standard, as well as for lobby and public areas, bar lounge, meeting rooms and parking, grounds and pools, as they were in red or our reputation management report. This is because Q3 is a high season and we wanted to make sure our hotel was clean during this period. We invested in a soft goods radio of the restaurant. Finally, we decided to renovate the environmental program as it was very low in our reputation management. We have decided to provide even more facilities and services in this quarter, hoping that this will allow us to raise up the prices and increase revenue in July. We added the concierge as we thought it would increase our reputation and therefore our revenues. In August, we added travel and tour to increase reputation and to increase departmental revenue. We have also bought the retail shops to respond to guests' complaints about not having enough facilities. By doing these investments, we try to provide more value for our customers to convince them to pay a high rate. Our reputation management had the lowest score for lobby and public areas, also parking grounds and pools, which was 52%, and the environmental program was the worst, 49%, which is why we have invested in all of them as we previously invested in the refurbishment of the environmental program. We can see here that after the front desk, the environmental program has a high score into reputation management. After the miscalculation in May, we did not want to offer an incredibly low rate again because of the negative impacts it had on our revenue and market indexes. We also knew that the competition would offer very low rates as this was the trend within the class. We decided to give a rate similar to our ADR with the expectations we would not get the group. We still had an increase in revenues, net profit, and GOP from July to August due to high season period, where we had high occupancy not just during the weekdays, but also for the weekends. We saw a large increase in tour sales.
Now we'd like to present Q4. Q4 did not start well for us. Due to human error, our input for large groups was $14 instead of $140 in October. This caused high occupancy for really low prices. Our occupancy raised, but our overall ADR decreased, and our large groups ADR dropped to just $21. November and December appeared to be consistent with occupancy slightly below 60% and 0.02% below competition index. RevPAR experienced a large hit in October due to human error. However, RevPAR index recovered back to below average for next 2 months. Reputation management. Lowest score for lobby and public areas, just 52%. Associate facilities, guest rooms and premium service around 56%. We outperform our competition on the environmental program as we just did the renovation for it. For this last quarter of the year, we decided to invest in cleaning services for front desk, restaurant, bar lounge, parking, grounds and pools, as well as associate facilities. We invested in soft goods redo of the bar, lounge and meeting rooms in October. Regarding the services and facilities, we wanted to invest in front desk, but we couldn't afford it. And even if we could, within the limited time left, we wouldn't see the impact anymore. Therefore, we focused on the cleaning of some areas in the hotel. In October, we made a large human error. While this inputting the large group room rate for October, a mistake was made. Instead of $140, I put just $14. This had rather damaging effects for the hotel. As you can see, our ADR was of course the lowest of all the quarters because of the mistake. And our total rooms sold for this quarter for groups was of course a lot higher due to the incredibly low rate we mistakenly offered. Here we can see the effect our error had on the indexes of October. Our occupancy was incredibly high due to the low rate, and our ADR and RevPAR indexes were incredibly low due to of course the low rate. This was of course damaging for our hotel as we also saw a negative net profit as a result. It can be clearly seen that we had negative profit in October due to the human error during the setup of the prices, which led to a high occupancy and very low ADR. For the last 2 months, our hotel managed to recover from negative net profit to positive. However, it was still much lower compared to our average throughout the year. As we can see on the graph, our biggest group were large groups and bar rates. And then there were contour guests. Therefore, if we approached with the business hotel strategy, we believe we did it well. Now, finally, here we presented in the table the revenues we generated per quarter from the services and facilities investments that we offered in our hotel. By looking at the total revenue, it increased from the beginning to the end, in our opinion. This is mainly due to increasing of occupancy and the way we manage our reputation management. We kept our eyes open, and whenever there was a drop in our category of our reputation, we would straight away work on it to increase it again.
So here are presented our recommendations for the short term. Our strategy for Q1 proved to be the best, so using this strategy would have worked well if we had used it for the whole year. The hotel should not lower its rate for the groups just to increase occupancy rate, as we saw the negative effects of this. There should be a clear rate strategy from the beginning, not a varying one each month. On reflection, we felt that we didn't have a strong wage strategy as we chose to just slowly increase it through the year. Due to better understanding of booking patterns, market, customers, and hotel performance, we could have redefined our trigger points and rates since the original decision was based on existing occupancy and team-made judgments. Now, for our recommendation for the long term, we could have tried to improve the reputation management by taking strategic decisions that would be mutually beneficial for the hotel and the customers. If we would have had sufficient funds, we plan to build a lobby bar to increase our ancillary revenue. In the long term, we would constantly refurbish rooms, meeting rooms, and restaurants. We would also establish a good relationship with groups.
Thank you for
Your attention.
Professor Hio.
Bye.